Today we're going to talk about The Fifth Letter by Nicola Moriarty. The Fifth Letter by Nicola Moriarty. This book was recommended to me by one of my book friends, Eduardo. Thank you very much for the book recommendation. I loved it. It was really good. So let's get right into it and talk about it, guys. All right, so the setup of The Fifth Letter is pretty self-explanatory, somewhat. These four longtime friends get together for a girls' weekend, and they decide while they're out that they're each going to write a letter confessing something that they had never told each other before. That's kind of a tall order when you consider that these women have been close friends for 20 years, but of course everyone always has some kind of secret that they're holding back. So through the course of the story, they write their letters and start reading them to each other. They're supposed to be anonymous, and they talk through what's in the letters and how they can help each other. So we find out that each of these women is dealing with very specific, very different problems of her own that she just holds inside and is struggling with. We're talking things like infertility, being married to a jerky husband, having ambivalence about one's child, working at a job that they don't quite feel ethically okay with, just some different things that people are dealing with in their lives. Some of these things they talk about in the letters, some of these things they don't. And so it's kind of interesting seeing when some of these secrets come out, how the dynamic shifts between these women. Now there's an undercurrent lying through the story where a woman writes an extra letter. She confesses to something that she doesn't want any of the other ladies to know. And it turns out it's just too big of a secret that she goes in, burns the letter, writes a different letter in its place, and that's that, right? Well, no, the name of the book is The Fifth Letter, so of course that fifth letter has to get found, and of course it does. Now, I'm not going to spoil the book for you because it is kind of suspenseful, and I don't want to give any of that away. But the contents of the fifth letter are perplexing to the reader of the letter, and mysterious. And so the big mystery of this book is who wrote the fifth letter, what does it say, and who's in danger. Now this book is set up kind of similarly to I think it's Leon or Leanne Moriarty book. That's not a coincidence. Nicola Moriarty turns out is the younger sister of Leon Moriarty. And we all know and love Leon Moriarty from such books as The Husband's Secret, Truly Madly Guilty, and of course the one that made the big splash on the big screen recently, Big Little Lies. So if you're familiar with her books, you'll see that they kind of follow a pattern, and Nicola follows a really similar pattern in her book, The Fifth Letter. So the pattern is female friends, longtime female friends who genuinely care about each other but have individual things going on in their lives. Something happens, and so there's a mystery in the book trying to figure out what that something is and how it's impacted the people in it. So, for example, in The Husband's Secret, the big mystery is whose husband and what's the secret. In Big Little Lies, the secret is who's dead and who done it. In Truly Madly Guilty, the big question is what the heck happened at that stupid picnic or barbecue where they got together. And so in The Fifth Letter, similarly, the big question that all of these female friends are mulling over is who wrote the fifth letter and what does it mean to us? So I say that there's a pattern to these books, but let me talk in defense of formulas for a moment real quick here. We'll notice that some beloved authors have figured out a formula for their books where they fill in the plot, and for them it works. For them it works. So for Leon Moriarty, it's the formula we just talked about with the female friends and the big mystery hanging over them. With HARLAN COBEN in his non-Myron Bolitar books, the formula is normal slice of life and then something big drops in that makes you question everything and someone turns up dead. Nicholas Sparks' formula. Two people who were jaded against love, against all odds, find each other, and then one of them dies. Dean Koontz formula, someone who is true of heart and spirit must come up against this big, super evil, often supernatural force. Who will prevail? Come on, we know it's the Danny Pureheart that's out there that, of course, good is going to win against evil. So you'll notice that all of these books, they tend to find this formula and follow it to a T. All of these authors, maybe except Nicholas Sparks, I'm a big fan of, though, and I follow their books. So formulaic, yes. Still enjoyable? Yes. So Nicola Moriarty, I'm definitely going to be reading more of her books in the future. Now, the only problem I really had with this book, again, I'm not going to spoil it, but I am going to refer to the fact that there is an ending to this book. An ending which I wasn't completely satisfied with. It kind of went off the rails a bit in the end, and the unraveling of the mystery seemed a little too pat, kind of like those Scooby-Doo mysteries where they catch the bad guy and he goes, "Oh, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids," and then proceeds to just blurt out in a long soliloquy everything that he had done and everything that they had found out. Is kind of odd. And then the conceit of confessing to a priest when really it's kind of like a gossip session that's meant almost as a narration to the story. And that was a little bit clunky, but again, Nicola's a little bit earlier in her authorship career, and of course she's written a big book that a lot of people have read, so I'm sure that as she goes on, some of these things are going to be a bit more smoothed out. So, Fifth Letter by Nicola Moriarty. Thanks again for the recommendation. Can't wait to read some more by this author, and makes me want to go back and read some more by Leon Moriarty as well. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, bye.